It's the Exit 52 podcast, Sunday, November 9th, 7:36 p.m. here on the East Coast. We are brought to you by Jimmy's Famous Seafood and by our friends at Black Eyed Susan Spices, who cordially invite you to Nevermore Hot 2025, an event that is free to attend and offers a full afternoon of spicy entertainment featuring sauces from 25 spicy vendors from all over the country, including food specials, oysters, live music, a festival-exclusive hot sauce from the Black Eyed Susan Spice Company. The infamous Spicy Wing Challenge, hosted by DEFCON Sauces and Peabody Heights Brewery, is releasing the festival-exclusive Fire Extinguisher Pilsner beer to go along with all their other delicious beers. All that plus the Dugout, which is one of the coolest arcades around, ensuring a spicy afternoon of tears and laughs that you and your friends won't soon forget. That is this coming Saturday, November 15th, Nevermore Hot Festival from noon to 6 p.m. Check out nevermorehot.com for details. My name is Jake Louque. I'm joined on my screen by Spenny, by Brian. Guys, how we doing tonight?
We're rolling. I mean, 3 in a row. It's wasn't the prettiest football game, and it was nice to see another team shoot themselves in the foot as much as the Vikings did. The penalties were just insane by them, and they're obviously mixing it up in post-game comments about us messing with their cadence and whatnot, and all I could hear about all week leading into this game, and even the first drive of the game, they wouldn't shut up about it. Such a tough place to play in Minnesota. It's so loud in there. We're going to have to use a silent snap count, blah, blah, blah. And they were just kind of pissing down their leg. J.J. McCarthy, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it, man. I think we did a good job of pressuring him, but yeah, a lot of interesting decisions and throws by him that were just really not even in the ballpark. So, but yeah, we'll dig into all that, but it's just good to keep the train rolling here. 3 in a row, going on maybe 6 in a row. I don't know. Looking at the schedule, licking my chops.
Could be a gateway game. McCarthy not making it easy on himself. Definitely missed a couple of throws. Obviously, the 8 false starts wound up being, I think, the final tally there for the Vikings in their own building. Ravens did not have one on offense, and if you had told me at the peak of the frustrations of the Greg Roman era, where it seemed like every drive there was at least one procedural penalty, that the Ravens would go into a hostile environment like Minnesota, that tough to rugged environment like Banks was talking about, and not have one of those, while the Vikings in turn would have 8, I probably would have slapped you because I wouldn't have believed it. Spenny, what's kind of your first takeaway from this afternoon?
I continue to see the Ravens who walk out of this game with a 27-19 victory. Start probably a little conservative, probably a little slow, and then the ball starts rolling down the hill until it rolls out of control for their opponent. And I like what they've done in the second half of their last 3 games, their last 3 wins. I like that they're playing complementary football. I like that they're sustaining drives. I like that while they didn't have an explosive day on the ground, they minimized losses on the ground. I like that they feel like they have an identity defensively and offensively again. And the identity to me today was, and it was a little bit of a, I don't know the right adjective to use. I don't want to say disjointed, because it felt like they had a plan and I felt like they made plays. I can't think of the right word, but I look and I see offensive formation, and a cool little feature I can do here on NFL Pro, whatever the hell it's called. The Ravens went I formation, straight I, with, that means 2 backs, 20 times in this game. And they went single back 5 times. So 25 snaps in this game from under center is what that tells me. And they were bad in the red zone. They figured it out later, but they play better in the second half, and they have been finishing games. They did end up with the Vikings having the ball and a chance to go score and get a 2, things like that. But we can get into the Roquan Smith interception. We can get into a lot of closing plays this defense has made. And when you're playing Justin Jefferson and you're playing a team that wants to be aggressive, especially early, and you kind of let up one big play early, they've just kept the ball in front of them so well. They've tackled really well, I think, at the majority of the time. I think they have a valiant physicality on defense, just especially from their second and third level players at times. So I don't know. It's just complimentary football. Like, my favorite play of the day was Keandre Jackson punching the ball out. That dude is a fan favorite already. He's going to be on the 53. He's a badass. Harbaugh shouted him out in the celebration in the locker room and all that ooh-ah stuff they've been doing. Shout out to Harbs. Not a big military fan or anything, but I think they've played well in all three phases, especially in the second half in the last 3 weeks. And that's not what we saw at the beginning of the season. And I think when they lose these playoff games, it gets everybody mad. Like they don't finish strong. So they're finishing strong. I'm not going to give them too much credit. They are playing, some Charmin soft quarterbacks, I'd say in particular, but we watch the Dolphins go kick the snot out of the Bills. We watch a lot of teams give teams with a better record trouble. It is the NFL. It is any given Sunday. And this Sunday, the Ravens won their third straight, 27-19, to kind of take control of their season back heading into a couple more cupcake games.
Yeah, one thing you kept hitting on in the preview, there's obviously been a lot of well-founded concern with this defense, but the last couple of weeks, it felt like they had tightened up against Caleb Williams, rookie quarterback, against Tua, who is kind of, he's well on his way to being a career backup at this point. And then you mentioned that McCarthy, rookie quarterback, and you can bait him and do a couple of mistakes, which they did with the 2 interceptions. I think the one that he threw to Jefferson was a little more on Jefferson, getting his feet tangled up with Marlon, and a great job by Marlon to keep his eyes up and recognize that. But you bait him into those couple of mistakes. And then obviously the thing with the cadence or whatever the hell was going on where they have the 8 false starts, it just felt like over and over and again, they just kept flinching and the Ravens just didn't flinch. Like I said, it just felt kind of surreal to not really have all those procedural penalties that we see them, or we have seen them in past years, fall victim to a lot of the time. Maybe one positive thing that you could say about this offensive line, who I think had definitely their poor moments throughout this game, and they've had their poor moments throughout the season. One of the reasons they keep rolling with this kind of much maligned group of guards in particular is the word continuity that we keep coming back to. Maybe there's something to be said for continuity, helping you avoid kind of those procedural penalties. And I'm probably just talking anecdotally there. I'd have to go back and look at how many they've had throughout the year thus far. But that definitely does feel like less. And I think that it can't go unremarked upon that, yeah, in a loud environment like this, you go in there and you keep a clean operation. And they had their 3 and outs, and they were a little conservative at times. And it didn't look pretty to start. But you're right. They finished and they didn't make mistakes, and they got out of the defense's way, who finished the job against the rookie quarterback. It's just a clean professional win to me, Brian.
Yeah, and it was it's just been good to see them progressively play better football throughout the course of a football game too. Like they're just, like Spenny said, they're feeling them out a little bit, and obviously the first quarter wasn't too good, but my favorite play of the game was fullback dive. That got me real fired up.
I took Ricard, I took Ricard anytime for the first time this year, trying to win myself a couple hundred nuggies there, and man, that was disappointing. But at least he got his carry there. That was one of my favorite calls today.
Yeah. The thing is, it's like that was his moment. That I don't know that they give him another carry for a while. But they weren't too good on first and second down, particularly in the first half, and they found themselves in some long third downs. I liked in the second half that they were a little creative in their ways to kind of figure out converting some third downs. Obviously, the pitch to Lamar comes to mind. A couple times early on, they did kind of do the whole run Derrick Henry right up the middle, and it didn't work out, and they adjusted on the fly, which was, I think, a little bit refreshing to see, but still frustrating not to get in the end zone more early on. They're going to continue to play these teams that they can probably get away with not punching it in or not firing on all cylinders at the beginning of the game and figuring it out later, but eventually, they're going to have to figure that part out. I really like the way that the defensive line, despite not getting pressure consistently, which they did, get after him quite a bit, but did a really good job at getting their hands up in some passing lanes. We could have had another pick or two just off a tip pass. And we're going to face Dylan Gabriel next week. He's 5'11". We're going to face Justin Fields the week after that. Those are the type of guys that I think you want to get some hands up in the air and try to even just to block their vision as they're trying to throw over some taller offensive linemen. I think that's something that we should continue to get after.
Definitely. I think, I don't know, the defense, it's just good to see them really turn this corner with turnovers too. And again, it's like the slate or the spate of just kind of, bad quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks, that kind of stuff. you got to see the ball go through the hoop sometimes on turnovers, I think. And then the floodgates kind of hopefully open. And I feel like that's happened the last couple of weeks, Penny. And today was a big one. Obviously, one of them was special teams, but have the 2 interceptions. Starks his second in 2 weeks. That's good to see.
Yeah, it is. And Starks doing what people wanted to see. I mean, did his job. He's doing his job, and he's always doing his job. And Kyle Hamilton talked about him briefly, that it's like, God forbid it takes a rookie, 6-7 weeks to catch on a little bit. But coming out of the bye, you expect your first round pick that's starting every snap for you to play a little better. And I think he also had an awesome play running the alley against Justin Jefferson on a good screen look that the Vikings got. I think it was second or third quarter. So running the alley, playing deep safety. He's not out of position. Like, is the guy maybe glue and man coverage against good receivers? No, but I don't know how many safeties are. So he's playing really well. And I think we saw the other rookie, Mike Green, play explosive. He had a couple pressures. He touched J.J. McCarthy quite a few times. He had a big play against the run, shot inside of Brian O'Neill, and got a 5-yard loss on a tackle for loss on a run play inside run concept. So those two guys playing did pretty damn well. I think Teddy Buchanan looked like a vet today, and maybe not, I know me and Cole talk a lot, and Jake, and we talk about how, maybe he's not like taking on blocks the most aggressively or like blowing up linemen, but he's in the right spots, especially in the pass game. We saw it today. He's closing out. And I think one of the best things that the Ravens have done since the bye is sit in, like, especially their hook linebackers and Kyle Hamilton, they're just seeing where the soft spot is, knowing the ball is going to go there, and just ending the play. Like, someone gets open, they go wrap up, make a secure tackle, limit yards after the catch. It's 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6 instead of 2nd and 3. They've really avoided 2nd and short, 3rd and short, considering how bad it was prior to that bye. One quick thing I did want to talk a little bit more about the defense, just noticed overall, like, is it a coincidence that the Ravens haven't turned the ball over since the bye and they're 3-0 against 3 maybe not, great teams? Absolutely not. They're forcing turnovers every game. They're winning the turnover margin every game since the bye. And one quick point here that I thought was interesting, the Vikings ran 42 pass plays according to NFL Pro, and the Ravens rushed 4 on 30 of those 42. They rushed 3 on 2 of those. So they rushed 4 or less, 32 out of 42 snaps. And it felt like they were able to get some pressure. Now, was J.J. McCarthy getting the ball out super quickly? No. And he did push the ball downfield a lot in this one, but you felt the pass rush was in the game. Vikings don't have a bad offensive line. They've got 2 good tackles and a little bit of talent inside. They still are missing their big acquisition center, Ryan Kelly, but you felt the presence of the pass rush, and you didn't need to blitz a ton. So I'm going to keep calling him a rookie quarterback. I know he's in his 2nd year. He didn't play last year, so I'm going to say rookie, but it's a rookie quarterback. You're taking care of business. You're closing out strong. It feels like the defense has a little bit of identity from that nickel and from Alohi Gilman, who had what a play on Justin Jefferson and Marlon Humphrey in this game just had I don't care, I'm not interested off in this one. They both seem so disinterested at times.
And there was something going on with his arm. He did not want to fully tackle. He had one arm hanging. He was the one. He's carrying on the Marcus Williams legacy. He's the new one arm man.
He was just punching at the ball and hooking at it. It looks like he has a cast on his pinky and ring finger on one
Larry,
hand.
what are you talking about? There's no one arm man here. You're playing my father in Scrabble.
The judge.
Yeah, the fugitive.
So yeah, I think it was a weird game overall. It felt like, I don't know, like the Ravens play on the road on Fox. I feel like it's the same game a lot in the Lamar Jackson era where they it's weird.
We don't play normal games against the Vikings. It just doesn't happen.
That too.
Even going back to
it's
the
weird in the first half. It's close.
Kick.
I feel like any game in a dome they play on the road, at 1:00, kind of is weird. I remember that Colts game a few years ago where they won 22-10, but they were losing for a lot of the game. It's just
today felt a little fever dreamy of me, and it might have had to do with the fact that I had a couple Guinnesses the day before. But I wake up and go to Wawa, I get my breakfast, and I get back, and I'm just kind of listlessly making my way through the morning. Then I turn on the television, and there's the Fox graphics, and I'm like, oh, this is a Fox game? What's going on? And I don't know. Yeah, it was strange. Who was on the call there? Was that Kugler and Moose, our boys there? We don't have Taylor on tonight's episode. We don't have to go too deep.
Big Daryl Johnson, yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's get a message out to him to just get his quick take on that.
Yeah,
maybe,
let's get that.
Even joins. But I think Keaton Mitchell might have given Mark Andrews a run for his money for weirdest fumble out of bounds that you made a point to point out a couple weeks ago, Spen.
The weird fumbles. Someone else had one too that went out about LaJohntay Wester too had one that just spitballed out of bounds. The Ravens did put the ball on the ground. Zay Flowers, they had that little jet pop pass or jet sweep.
He was just dribbling it. I think it was a trick play where he intentionally bounced it off the ground back to himself, and then
they were him and Lamar were both just like laughing at each other about that one. Like, I don't know. The vibes are a little better for sure.
We should be sure to point out that we've had a little bit of luck on our side, but it was due to swing that way. So
it was due for some regression. Regression was inevitable. The Ravens put the ball on the ground like 3 times today, I think, secretly, quietly. Keaton Mitchell, Zay Flowers.
How you identify on the ground, because like Zay's was actually live. I don't know if you count it like fumbling out of bounds as like actually putting on the ground.
Sure. That's good. That's a good clarifying context. But yeah, I don't know. Keaton Mitchell holding the ball like a loaf of bread. And I know people, maybe again, I'm totally down to be an idiot. I've said bad things that were wrong in the future a million times, but like, I don't know. I'm going to shout out, I think Russ from Russell Street, or what the hell? Tony Lombardi. Jesus Christ, can't talk. Tony Lombardi from Russell Street's like, he's averaging 10 yards a carry. Like, what the hell? It's like, he might be averaging 10 yards a carry because they have a package for him and it's like the right usage and it's efficient and they get certain looks and it's like a good thing. Could he maybe have 15 carries for 150 yards? Probably. I mean, we've seen him have some crazy runs, but I don't know. Like, he's carrying the ball like a loaf of bread. I don't know. The explosiveness is awesome. He's a great change of pace player, and I think he could have maybe a little bit more significant load, maybe get him more involved in the pass game a little bit with some manufactured touches and things. But regardless, like, him in the second half has been really cool. I think he's a nice changeup. I think he's a nice off-speed pitch to bring in the game. And so we didn't see too much freaky stuff, but we did see the Ravens also run the Andrews tush-push QB sweep, like halfback sweep.
And I like to see that. I really like to see that because I had a complaint early in the game as it related to when they got into the red zone. I think it was after one of the turnovers, and I think they either went 3 and out or they had to stall out and kick a field goal. And I tweeted something to the effect of like, it annoys me that Monken's getting a lot of this criticism. I feel like that should be directed at the lack of talent along the offensive line. But one thing I would level his way is like, yo, we all know that that's the case with this offensive line, and he still kind of doesn't really zag from that tendency too often where it's like, oh, hey, we get a goal to go. Guess what? We'll just go out of the eye and we'll give it to Derrick Henry and hope he can push forward for a couple and hopefully score. And he just gets stoned every single time. And, you know, that'll probably continue at points throughout the season, but it was nice to see that tendency breaker there where they go to the Andrews tush push look and then they try something different. And we've seen them do that before. I think that was actually a Roman play from a couple of years ago. So yeah, good to see more of that. And I'd like to see more of it going forward because it just feels like you gotta, as much as I think Todd doesn't deserve some of the heat that he gets, I think he could probably make some adjustments as well to be more in line with knowing your personnel and how to use them a little bit better.
Yeah, it's just good to get on tape too. And you know that there's the next element of that is Lamar rolls out and finds a tight end in the end zone or something. If it's a 4th and goal at like the 10 or something, there's something there. So
yeah,
maybe that's where you get Ricard somewhere. I don't know that he's been on the field in that play though.
They did try to. I mean, they did also try to ice a game on. I think it was kind of a spider 2 wide banana there, where you're in 3rd and 4. I think it was coming out of the 2-minute warning there. Vikings, no timeout. So if you sit on the ball or run it, then you burn 40 seconds off the clock, and to make it much harder for them, they try that, sort of play action look. Lamar tries to hit Kohler, doesn't see, I think, Van Ginkel in front of him, who knocks it down. That could have been huge if the Ravens were not playing 9 in this game. If this was like a Josh Allen that you were punting to, I'd probably would have been a lot more concerned, and maybe they would have paid for that dearly. But yeah, that's the flip side of that is sometimes you can get a little bit too cute and you can cost yourself. And I think they're pretty lucky that it didn't cost them too much in that situation.
Lamar Jackson did not throw a pass 20 yards downfield today. No attempt was further than, I believe, 17 yards in the air. He threw quick passes under 2.5 seconds on 65.5% of his attempts against the Vikings, which was the 2nd highest rate of quick passes in his career. His fastest game occurred against Brian Flores in week 10 of 2021. So I think the Ravens had they definitely had a plan in mind, and it was an opponent-specific plan. It was the same one, and they didn't want to open up the Pandora's box of holding the ball against Brian Flores and longer developing plays. I look at this offensive performance and including that fourth down play, and also including the really nice throw that Lamar Jackson had through traffic for a Mark Andrews touchdown. But I look at these as necessary growing pains in quick game. Lamar still has only started. I mean, he missed a couple games, right? You have the bye week, so it's not like he's played as much football as these defenses have a little bit. So Flores and what he does and being able to get the ball out quickly and the 2-point conversion they had to Bateman and the pass to Andrews, and then some of the little clunkers. Isaiah Likely didn't have a good day today, or especially early was struggling a bit. He had a nice catch in the second half, but him and Andrews were both kind of not ready to fire on all cylinders coming out of the gate, be in the right spot, use their hands, make the play, make the catch, do the thing, execute their job. So I think those are good growing pains. I think you can look back on this game. You saw so many different looks and what Brian Flores does. And you can say hey, we were able to move the ball a bit. They won on some high leverage downs. They won in the red zone, and there's some plays to be made. And we have KP in the comments here says Kohler tight end 1. What about Big Chuck, man? Big Chuck has been rumbling, stumbling, fumbling. He's got good Ravens energy, good play like a Raven energy. That dude's bought into the fucking program from tip to tail, 100%. So rumbled on this one. Wish he would have scored there.
He is the perfect third tight end where he's got a little bit of personality, but he doesn't overdo it. And he's just kind of in the mix there, and he'll make a play every couple of weeks. And he's very self-deprecating and just a good locker room guy. That's a guy that I hope they can find a way to keep around for the long term. He could probably find himself a good opportunity elsewhere to get even more opportunities, but I don't know, man. I think you're right. I think he's very bought in, and his ascension has been fun to watch here because it's a crowded tight end room, and the fact that he still finds ways to get himself in the mix here and there, I think that speaks pretty well of him.
He's playing a lot of snaps where the other two tight ends aren't even on the field too. So it's like a true rotation, which is, I think it says a lot about some of the skill set that he brings to the table that contrasts what the other two can do. So it's, I agree with you. I think he's what I was hoping Crockett Gilmore would be way back in the day.
He got drafted before Likely too. That's something that is easy to forget.
Yeah. Was that the year we had $1 billion fourth or fifth rounders?
Yeah, I think that was one of Eric's big, all right, I'm stocking up. You guys can say shit to me because I'm going to take all the draft picks in the mid rounds, and you're just going to have to
They got Falele, Stout, both those tight ends, and a corner. Was that the 2021 NFL draft?
I think it was 22, if I'm not mistaken.
22 NFL draft. I'll end in a second, but yeah, I mean it's fun, and I think that. I don't know. I think of Charlie Kohler. He was really lanky coming into the NFL. He had made a lot of, had a lot of production. Maybe it was Kyu Blue Kelly. Nate has in the comments.
Yeah, he might have been a fifth rounder. It could have been somebody else.
Yeah, I think he was a fifth. Something like that. We'll look it up in a second.
Big night for him. Yeah.
Charlie Kohler lays the wood on special teams too. He's had some hit sticks. He just reminds me of, it was Pepe Williams. There we go. Cody has it here. Yep. Shout out Pepe. But lays the wood. He just feels more coordinated. I don't know. I think of Kobe Mayo on the Orioles, or I think of some of these guys that he just needed to put on the muscle and do the work and bite the iron and, get punched in the face and then eventually punch back. And glue guy, great role player, him and Keandre Jackson today. Those are two dudes that bring physicality on whatever they're doing. And build the whole plane out of that physicality, and you've got a tough fucking team.
Yeah, on Jackson too. Even the last couple of weeks, I had noticed just how much of a psychopath that guy was. On kickoffs, just coming down, screaming his head off every time he's remotely in on a play. So it was nice to see him be able to make good on that with both forcing and recovering that fumble there. That's a big moment for him. That might earn him more of a long-term spot with this team as a special teams guy, which we know John loves.
He's on the 53 now. He's getting called up next week. Somebody's getting booted, and that's that. John was grabbing him in the locker room, skin on skin, touching him. That's John's guy. He's
starting to feel himself.
Come in here, son.
Yeah, we are dangerously close to a dancing video territory. I'm just warning everyone now. I know people are going to be triggered. We're the finger is on the button, and I'm just here to don't shoot the messenger. I'm just here to warn you.
I think not next week. If they can win the second game. If they can do 2 more, I think that's
There
when
is
the music's on and they start getting
odds would we set if they win next week and then they win Thanksgiving night, if he trots into the locker room in a full turkey costume and does some kind of gobble bit about how they like fought their way back from adversity and the Lord is with them and some kind of military.
He won't wear anything, but I could see like some food being involved or something like that.
Yeah.
Is he going to go sit on the
stout?
The
like
NFL
cool
Network
young
stat?
Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say, is he going to go sit on the the NFL Network set, post game in the cold and do that whole bit? I mean, Lamar got the one, a few weeks ago, so I figure they might as well mix it up.
I think Kohler will be on the set if they win on Thanksgiving. I think he'll be.
If he gets a touchdown in that game, and the whole world is going to be introduced to Charlie Kohler, and they're going to love him if that happens.
And then it's going to be like freaking. Oh wait, I don't know what network's doing the game. Never mind. I was thinking it's going to be Tony Gonzalez awkwardly talking to Charlie Kohler about. I saw that thing you said about being the fat guy running down the field, and Charlie, yes, I said that.
Yeah,
real awkward. And
Whitworth and Fitzpatrick are just like exchanging looks at each other, like, "Huh, okay, that's where we took that."
Thank you,
Tony.
Peacock game.
NBC and the Cox.
So
yeah, my guys, Rodney, Coach, the Clapper, they're going to be bringing Lamar or whoever into their warm embrace. That'll be great too.
What else do we have in this game? Big 2-minute drill before the half. I think that got some rhythm going in the pass game overall.
I got that pulled up right here, and that was so it was Justice Hill, 12-yard gain, and then Likely, and then the Zay one was the big one. Where he goes for 27 yards. And that was the one where I was prompted to tweet out that Zay Flowers plays like a flag football player. Like it feels like he has these imaginary flags attached around his hip, and he's just trying not to get like the flags pulled out. He's not worried about actually being form tackled. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's just kind of the vibes that I was getting. And then obviously
it makes perfect sense. And I think it's a great comment.
Yeah. And then obviously they were pretty much into Louque's field goal range, but Louque had missed a 56-yarder, I think, by that point, or maybe that was later on, but Louque 4 for 5 in this game, but they were it was dicey. And then Lamar sacked by Dallas Turner, comes down on top of him, lands with the body weight. So it's a roughing the passer for 13 yards. And that was really well executed. Even without that, I feel like they would have gotten a shot at the field goal. So that was a very good situational football. And of course that brings up the, everyone loved to throw out. This is everyone's favorite thing to do when that thing happens. Oh, textbook tackle. That's the big term everyone uses, is textbook. Well, it's like, if you actually crack open the textbook, I know the rule sucks. I know the Ravens have been burned by it. I know it annoys me every time it happened to Matabike, which has happened multiple times, but that's just how they call it. And if you don't realize that, you haven't been paying attention the last couple of years.
Kelly McCoy loves the Clapper, and we do too. Zay Flowers quietly on pace for 1,188 yards, I think it is. Right around 1,200 yards, just like silently. Has only scored 1 touchdown so far, but just feels a little more grown up. He feels more grown up. He was young, and he's got a great smile and personality, and he's super competitive. And everybody will. I think the Chiefs, the fumble against the Chiefs definitely was a defining moment in his early career, despite how well he pplayed in that game, the taunting penalty, and how many explosive plays he's made, big time moments he's had as a Raven, being a first round receiver for the Ravens, and probably definitely the best one they've ever had, picked in the first round, right? So. Just feels grown up. Cut his hair. The smile looks nice and bright. Very happy, positive. He stays in the game. He finishes plays. He maximizes what he has. So tough on screens. He had that sidestep on the one screen. Had another where he kind of went down, got up, and let himself get dragged and hit a little bit. So just consummate professional. Has not cried about the football. He's got big jock energy. Like, he's got the same energy that Kyle Hamilton has. Like, he's a fucking jock. He's not crying about the football much. He's getting some screens, making plays, getting hit hard, laughing. He's really positive with Lamar. So just a nice Zay Flowers day, a nice Zay Flowers catch there. Did some dirty work, and little small but mighty. Like, good dude, good player. Going to get paid a lot of money. I think he's going to get paid a lot of money. Like, is anybody surprised that if he has a $90 million contract? I don't think so. About to post back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons probably. Rashod Bateman in a boot said to a reporter after the game, whose name is escaping me, but basically said he has a high ankle sprain. He doesn't expect to miss much time. He sprained it when he tried to lunge for the end zone to score a touchdown, which might have been a touchdown, and that really screwed me out of a lot of money, actually. But that crushed me. I had Travion Henderson 2 touchdowns, him and Jackson Smith and Jigba touchdown. Crushed me. But I digress. Bateman in a boot, probably going to miss, I don't know, a game or 2, I would think, based on his comments. He said he feels okay. He was able to stay in the game. Ankles are fickle. Hamstrings are fickle. Most injuries are fickle. So, yeah, going to be some other opportunities for guys to step up. But Zay Flowers, very cool game. Quiet, like nothing flat. He hasn't had a flashy year at all for a player that's kind of like flashy on the field performance-wise. Just a workman-like year. And I was looking just now, like I said, like on pace for 1,200 yards, 98 receptions, 1,200 yards. That's a big game.
I would say he's probably been hurt more by the offense's inconsistency more than anyone, probably.
They're completely anemic without Lamar for 2.5 games.
Yeah. So whatever that extrapolation of where he's tracking towards catches and yards and all that, I would probably guess the second half of the season here, he's gonna probably fire it off at a better clip than that too. So he probably does get to that 100 figure on receptions, and he might land around 1,400 yards even. So I think he's got a monster game in him at some point here soon.
Yeah, very soon. One of these teams is going to be belly up, and he's just going to be feeling frisky on the right day. The game plan will be to attack that.
I'm looking at that Thanksgiving game. That Bengals defense just continues to confound. Like that would be the spot to open it up. Not that I think the Jets he could probably get to as well, but I feel like that would be a good one to kind of save the big deep shots for him and everything. Maybe get one-on-one with Geno Stone or whoever it is and try that. Like they've done against the Bengals in the past with him.
I feel like Lamar Jackson has hit a deep shot in like 4 straight MetLife games. I feel like he had a big one to Bateman against the Giants. He had a big one to Bateman against the Jets. He had a big one. There's another one that's escaping me, but yeah, I think we see a Zay deep shot here for sure next couple of games. But yeah, quick passing was impressive. I mean, just overall, like Dre Jones comes in, gets some pressure. Mike Green got some pressure. Travis Jones, I think, had a hell of a game. So a lot of guys had a good game. Defensively, it felt like Roquan Smith, that pick that they took away from him was a really sick play, and it was a game-winning play that, I mean, sure, take it away, whatever we can argue about.
So is replay assist, like that's just final, like it comes in and there's no additional look at it? That's interesting because like they kind of just
you can't challenge replay assist because they're like, well, then who, like they're saying we looked at it, who's going to look at it? You want us to look at it again? We're not going to.
Yeah, they did it. They just did it so quickly. I was like, damn, like, okay. And I think, yeah, like probably I could see the argument, but they did call it a pick on the field. So I don't know. Whatever. That's my complaining about the refs this week.
Sure. How is that not a record that the Vikings had 8 false starts? How is that not an NFL record?
What is the record?
I don't know. They didn't say. I was waiting for it. This is where I feel like we need Taylor. Taylor was in the air and wasn't able to watch this one, but
Buffalo had like, 9 in a game 15 years ago.
I was like, what the hell? What'd you say, Brian?
He's saying Buffalo
had 9 in a game.
Oh my God. That would have been
I just saw it on Twitter at some point.
That would have been poetic if they had 9 to tie the record in the game against 9.
I don't understand how you can have 4 and 5 false starts and still be aggressively hitting hard count at home.
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me. I feel like it might have like helped them a couple times. They were getting kind of winded, having some long plays that felt a little like they were getting up to the line and looked like their receivers were kind of disjointed. I think they had a false start on one of the 4th downs, perhaps, or maybe it was a 3rd down, and they ended up converting after. But it was one of the weirder things I've ever seen. The broadcast did say that the Vikings had 8 false starts in a game in 2006. And I was shocked to learn that they had 8 in a game previously as a franchise. That is so many. 8 false starts is so many. I don't know. That was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was bizarre. I think O'Connell was getting really frustrated. I think the players, it was starting to boil over with them too. You had Thielen with that OPI where he literally just threw a shoulder into Kyle Hamilton and stopped moving. Like that was obviously a pick, and then he got really like fired up about it. I think that was kind of just a carryover from how pissed off they were about all their other offensive penalties throughout the game. So I don't know, man. It's this whole JJ McCarthy thing. It might be it might be over like before the end of this season. Sad as I am to say, he'll probably get another shot next year, but man, it doesn't.
Reminds me a lot of Mitch Trubisky, the mobility, kind of playing. He's a thrower a little bit more than a passer. He did have a couple throws over the middle of the field, but generally avoided the middle of the field, just like I said on the preview. What's he going to do? They're going to try to push the ball downfield early in their script, which they did. They hit the big play to Naylor, and who's a very nice player.
He had two really nice throws to Naylor. It was that one and then the touchdown at the end of the game, which was kind of there. And that was on 4th down. Really impressive placement there. But it's like for both of those, you've got to sit through the rest of that game where he's kind of having a little bit of a Tua situation where he's not on the same page with the guy that he's throwing it to. And then obviously he doesn't really seem to have command of the cadence, and he's just not going to overwhelm you physically. It's just like, man, like I say this a lot, but you look at the discrepancy between guys like Lamar, Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, you can throw in there, and then like the rest of the league, unless you've got like a Jalen Hurts who is very accurate and like can be an absolute like maestro when it comes to being a point guard, and you have an amazing roster around him like the Eagles do, like you might be in rough shape.
Yeah. I mean, Kyler Murray, super talented quarterback. He's benched right now for the Cardinals. And we also know that Kevin O'Connell definitely elevates quarterback play. We've seen it with Nick Mullins. We've seen it with Josh Dobbs. We've seen it. I mean, Carson Wentz was dealing a bit for the first time in a couple years. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's any point in not playing him like a lot more, other than trying. I mean, you can say just make the playoffs, but what are you gonna do? Nick Foles is gonna come fucking save you? I don't know. I don't know. And Flores has a nice defense, and he's a great defensive mind, great coach. I just feel like the league's kind of it's not as like shocking what he does anymore. Like they do create negative plays, and I love what he does with the edges, Van Ginkel, and how many passes they bat, and they take away the screens and the good angles they take, and they did limit big plays really well against a crazy explosive offense. I mean, the Ravens simply didn't have explosive plays. Like Henry, I think, had a 16 or 17-yard run at one point. Kohler kind of rumbled downfield, but kept the lid on a good bit, and all that's good and dandy. I don't know. They definitely need a quarterback that can put them ahead, and then you can really tee off. I feel like that's where Brian Flores can have a little bit more fun. And maybe I'm just, he did play Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson, he kind of beat, like, I think they schematically beat the Ravens today, I would say, but the Ravens just played conservatively and took the 5-yard gains and the 4-yard gains and the 6-yard gains and kept at it and didn't turn the football over. So I don't know. Vikings, that's what I said in the preview, Jake. Like, I'm just not there's no reason to be scared of them. It starts with the quarterback, and I think it ends with the fact that they don't have enough. Yeah. Who's scary on their defense? John Grenard's a really good player. Harrison Smith's really old.
He is so old, dude. He was 2012, right? I saw a stat the other day how there's 2 first-round picks there were 2 first-round picks from the 2013 draft, which was the last one before GTA 5 came out, because like GTA 6 got delayed or whatever. Like there's going to be another draft in between now and then, and like one of them was D-Hop, and I forget who the other one was. And then I saw Harrison Smith running around out there, and I was like, well, fuck, Harrison Smith's still playing. He was like a 2012 first-round pick. Like that's kind of wild. I guess like safeties, especially the style that he plays, where he's kind of a little more rangy, that can last you for a long time. But man, he's
definitely.
still,
I mean, he was a headhunter too for years.
Yeah.
He was a headhunter. Absolutely. Chef Spicy Rice says, "What about Hargrave? What about Byron Murphy Jr.?" Yeah, I mean, they're nice. They have a lot of nice players on defense. Like Van Ginkel's a good player. I don't think they have a force multiplier really. They have a lot of solid players. Like I think Dallas Turner has a ton of upside. He's playing a little bit more of a scheme than like maybe where he could pin his ears back, and he might end up being a better player or a more like box score better player. Air quotes there for the non-YouTube listeners, but I don't know, just not a lot of fear. Justin Jefferson looked either injured or disinterested, and I mean maybe his hammy's tight or something, but I don't know. I just didn't see. He got fired up on the Cheeto DPI that didn't look like one. Ravens ended up with 5 or 6 penalties in this game. They played so clean. They've been so good limiting penalties this year, which is penalties and turnovers are the things that have killed them for years, and forcing turnovers right now, negating penalties. But yeah, just I don't know. Didn't see anything that was inspired especially offensively from the Vikings, just body language wise, things like that. And I don't know, Ravens lulled them to sleep, and I'm giving the Ravens plenty of credit. It was a good game. They played complimentary football. It was a great second half performance. I think they got off the field a couple times, had some weird stuff happen on some fourth downs. They did what they were supposed to do, but again, the Ravens have not beaten a good team this year. They haven't. I don't think the Bears are a good team. I think the Bears are solid. I think they will probably make the playoffs. I think they have their record is better than they are. And they could end up being better, finishing stronger. But again, the Ravens don't have, I don't think, a signature win still. This was not that to me, and still looking for it. I don't know that you can get it until Pittsburgh. So a lot of improvement still needed. Quick pass game could be better. Run blocking, short yardage, power, red zone, all of those things could be better. But playing complementary football, good special teams, taking the ball away, having pride defensively, all those great things. And yeah, 4-5. Like, that's impressive to do from 1-5. Takes a lot of chutzpah, even if you're playing some kind of easier quarterbacks.
Yeah, and you got one of those without your starting quarterback in there too. So impressive stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Just I'm with you. Not super impressed, but good to see them not get in their own way, which they've done at times this season, much to their detriment. It just kind of felt like they knew what they had to do in this one, and they went out there and they did it pretty much to a T, and it could have looked prettier and it could have been better, but this is just what they need to do right now. They're one win away from 500, which, like you said, if you had told me that when they were sitting at 1-5, even with that schedule, I would have said, well, the math probably wouldn't work out that way, but here they are. And yeah, just a sleepy, slow game. I feel like other games were like well into the fourth quarter as the Ravens were like approaching the end of the third. I think that was probably by virtue of McCarthy throwing the ball 42 times and them having 13 carries between both of their running backs with another, 5 by
They're
McCarthy.
running the ball well too. I don't know. They came out in the second half running right downhill, and they just got scared.
Moose was talking about that. He's like, when they open their drives with Aaron Jones, like they'll rip off an explosive, and it's like, why don't you just stick with that? I don't know. It felt a little weird. It felt like they wanted to dictate tempo. They wanted to kind of slow the game down and try to keep themselves in it as much as possible. But I feel like it backfired. I think they got tired out on offense by the end there, especially that last drive. They just looked listless.
I don't think there's a football coach in America that would tell you having J.J. McCarthy throw 42 passes in the game that you had a lead at halftime would be a winning recipe while you're also reeling off some runs. I mean, what's an inexperienced quarterback's best friend? The run game. So, yeah.
Brian, any big takeaways?
No, I mean, they just need to play better if they're going to do anything this season, but they're doing the job that needs to get done. I think that's kind of the summary of your guys' thoughts just now. So I would like to see them truly blow out. But yeah, I'm seeing them winning each of the next 3 games, but I don't want to win the way that we won this week. I want to win by multiple scores. I want to see some life in the first quarter and some rhythm. I don't want to ease into it and kind of find our way. I want to kind of impose our will early and play the type of football that can be played against the Steelers and subsequently the Patriots. Is going to be a big game down the road should things go to plan. So we got to be better, but it's good to get the win.
Yeah, and I think part of that is probably, for me, going to have to start with just getting better at running the football straight up. Like, I feel like that will be the thing that will allow them to dictate tempo in their own way, and setting yourself up in third and fourth and manageable, which even that can be a little bit suspect for them at times, just given their deficiencies along the offensive line. But if they can continue to kind of get that together, I feel like we've seen sparks of it in the last couple of weeks, but I feel like the thing that's really going to differentiate them against some of these bad teams and get some of these blowouts that I think you're talking about is the big Derrick Henry runs down the sideline where he's stiff arming a bunch of guys and maybe he's scoring. And if he's not, it's just a big kind of dagger to the opposing defense. So I want to see more of that. They're doing a good job keeping him mixed in. 20 carries, 75 yards, ran for 3.8. That's going to get it done for you every single time. He had one of their few explosives there with a 14-yard rush. We mentioned Keaton getting the 4 carries for 31, 7.8 along with 22. Like, that's impressive stuff. And Lamar quietly a 9 for 36 there as well. It feels like to me he's been a little more reticent to run this year. I don't know if that's by virtue of the injury, but it felt like that might have been the case even before he got hurt. So yeah, just kind of that 3-headed monster with the rushing game. I feel like if you kind of lean more into that, and like I already said, I feel like the offensive line and some of the deficiencies there at the guard position make that difficult. But if you can find a way to get around that, then you'll be feeling a lot better about yourself. If you win a couple of games in a row, all of a sudden you have a winning record when you got to play Pittsburgh. And I think that will have been a big part of it. And it'll give you confidence going into that game where you can have a little bit more control of the clock and you can say, hey, listen, we can keep ourselves in this thing no matter what.
100 starts for Lamar Jackson, 73-27 record. Pretty nuts. Lamar has a touchdown pass in 30 consecutive games. I think that's the longest streak in the NFL by, I think Bo Nix was actually second. And it was like 16 or 17, something like that. And just, coming off the injury, coming off some negativity, hearing about him taking more leadership and, the locker room is his locker room and starting to get towards 30 years old, right? This is where you want him to have games like today where they did not turn the football over. He did not put the football in danger. Layered some throws too, had a really tight throw to DeAndre Hopkins to get them into, I think, second or third and short, a couple things like that. So I think Lamar finished with an 87 passer rating in this game, which is funny. 17 and 29 just didn't have a ton of yards, but gets it done. And that's why I said, Jake, in the preview, like, you expect to win this game. It's Lamar Jackson versus a rookie quarterback. Like, should win this game because of that. So I don't think that hamstring looks great. Slipped a lot. Him and Henry, they just slipped.
I was going to say, there were a couple, two runs back to back.
You guys slip so much. It's crazy. Can we take a look at the cleats here? Can we get the cleats matched up to the turf we're on?
I think it was the turf. Yeah, like some of the pellets that were coming up. I played on turf in high school, and like when you get all those pellets coming up, you just know that you like slipped, and you just didn't have the purchase that you needed. And yeah, maybe that is a cleat issue and a footwear thing. But man, it's like there, and it's MetLife. I'd be very worried if I were a player. And you, Brian, you were about to talk about the two back-to-back plays there with Henry. I was kind of like, man, he's kind of lucky.
Yeah, I think those were the two runs where I think if his foot's good, like we could have really seen him bust one or two if he didn't slip on those two. So
the one that was started.
I'm curious. I'm looking up.
Like he was about to.
He played a little bit of a dud.
The one where he slipped straight up.
This is like easily in Lamar Jackson as it relates to passer rating. I think our connection's getting all wonky.
I think it's you, yeah. So you did to pull the curtain back here. He did mention there might be
it's
some.
Totally me.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. Keep rolling if you can.
Keep rolling.
I thought
here?
You got me. You're here. Yeah, we got you. Are you for?
I think the reason. Give me a sec. Football Reference eats up a shit ton of data when you have a page open. So I had a Football Reference page up, and I think it just chewed up my connection. Lamar's 87.7 passer rating in this game is like, looking at his game log last 3 years or so, it's like easily bottom quartile for him.
Shout out to Jim Irsay. The quartiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't seem right to me. Like, he seemed fine. I don't. And passer rating's weird too. Like, I don't know. People say that it's better than QBR, but QBR does go by the 100 scale, whereas passer rating it's like 158.3 or whatever. So I got to look into how that's all weighted and stuff. But
like, point being is if that's one of his worser performances, like that's the level of football he's been playing.
Yeah,
exactly. So. Yeah, I think, Bateman in a boot. We'll see what the injury report looks like. Sounds like he's probably going to miss next week. But Ravens have had, I'll knock on wood for him, a good bill of health. They've played complementary football. They played good special teams. They've turned the football over, and they've taken care of the football against teams that they've been favored against. So that's good football. They played good football today. I think they're a solid football team. The things that are going to determine their season, to me, are running the ball in short yardage. Still wasn't great. Had a couple creative things, which helps, and they're going to need a lot more creative things as they continue to iron out execution and get work for their five. But that, and then pass rush. Dre Jones looked good. Mike Green looked good. Travis Jones has had back-to-back really big performances. Impending free agent, making himself a lot of money the last couple of weeks. If he can keep it up, he'll make a lot of money, and Ravens might need to Need to see if they can get a little something, a little call to his agent. The defensive line for next year not looking too good, and he's been able to stay healthy. So those are the things. Again, I mentioned that quick passing, all the things they did, the younger players they're relying on. These are good games against cupcake opponents. I don't think the Vikings are a cupcake as much as some of the other ones, but you expect to win. They won. They took care of business. Now they have Dylan Gabriel standing in their way of making it back to 500 and being in all the nice graphics of in the hunt and still bearing down on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are kicking off right now.
We're minus 190 to win the division.
If the Steelers win tonight, like I will say,
it probably goes down to around even money. If I had to guess.
6-3.
Maybe.
We've watched the Steelers blow the division several times in the last couple of years here, but 6-3 versus 4-5. You'd
probably have to sweep them if they win tonight. That would be my thought.
Probably. And the Bills, the AFC West has 3 teams. That would put the Chargers at 6-4. You've got the Chiefs at 5-4, I believe. And who else? The Jags are floating around a little bit. We'll see what happens with the Texans. I don't know. Big game for the Ravens in terms of the division kicking off right now. So I guess we can go watch that one, boys.
Yep, let's do it. Thank you guys for hanging with me here tonight. Thank everyone for hanging around in the comments. And of course, everyone listening after the fact. We appreciate you all very much. If you liked what you heard, subscribe to us here on YouTube. Comment, like the video, do all that good stuff for us. You can find us on social media if you're so inclined at Exit 52 Podcast on X and on Instagram. Also on X, you can find me at Jake Louque. That is LOUQUE. Spenny at Ravens4 Dummies. That is the number 4 in the middle there. Brian at Barstool Banks. Taylor at Taylor Smith 10. Eric at EDITTI22. For my Spotify listeners, keep hanging in there. Keep holding the fort down. I will figure this out. You've got your best and your brightest on the case. And I'll get it figured out eventually. We appreciate y'all. Have a good Sunday night. Have yourselves a good week, and we'll talk again very soon.
See ya.
Arrivederci.